Speaking of being hacked, a couple months ago, well, earlier this month maybe, it was Equifax that had gotten hacked. And it's been a big story in the news as of late. But what many people don't know is along with, your credit card and maybe social security numbers that were stolen, people's driver's licenses were also stolen, nearly 11 million of them. Now, the latest news from the enormous Equifax hack is that the stolen records included 10.9 million driver's licenses from U.S. citizens, according to the Wall Street Journal sources. Now, this isn't much of a surprise given how poorly that all the other information was secured, but it's nice to put a number on not just how many various personal documents Equifax's poor security practices exposed. Now, licenses are, of course, a ubiquitous form of state-issued ID, and as such, being used frequently for certain kinds of verification. No doubt, Equifax requires its users to provide this for a particular form of ID to say about, I don't know, nearly 11 million users or 11 million times a day sometimes. Now, while your driver's license isn't exactly personal identification, having that information makes it much easier for someone to impersonate you. For example, if your bank requires you to put in your last four of your social security and your driver's license plus some other meaningless stuff like your mother's maiden name or whatever, that information could very well be all out there if anybody is looking for it. Or, let's say if somebody were to go to like a gas station, for example, and they said, well, you got to write a check or whatever, and they made up a phony ID based on your ID, for example, there'd be no way for them to know that that wasn't them, because faking an ID would be pretty easy at that point. And then they have the proper data, and that would all check out, and you're screwed then. If website and services that previously used license as a way to verify your identity should no longer do so, since million members of them are out there now in the wild. Unfortunately, you can't really make them stop, but you can report if your license has been stolen. Now, for example, another quick example here. If you wanted to change your name on Facebook or whatever, because Facebook a while back started cracking down on people with fake names or anything that looked fake. And they said, if you want to have your name on here, this particular name, you're going to have to prove it with a driver's license. So if I wanted to, I could make one up and it would have all the information on there and it would say whatever I wanted to say at that point. So this is really no different. So if using your ID anywhere nowadays, it's almost pointless at this point because of people like this that let the information out like this because of their poor security. Atheist Ranger, your thoughts?
This is worrisome because if that is the case, if people can make fake IDs better, then identity theft will go through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And then not to mention as you pointed out, the amount of theft that will go on if fake IDs are made better. So once again, this is just something to worry about.
Yes, absolutely. Just another thing we have to worry about.
Just something to worry about. Something else is probably going to be on my mind.
Yeah. Matt, your thoughts?
The driver's license thing. Now, when you go and get your driver's license now, because I had to do it earlier this year to have mine renewed, they don't give you your driver's license right away.
They don't. They will now mail it to you.
Right. They give you a copy of the driver's license on some paper.
Right.
And then you'll get it and then you'll get the actual license within the week.
Yeah.
So that's probably how that happened.
No. With Equifax, sometimes a lot of those pieces of information, like if you have to sign up for a credit anywhere or to hold any kind of information, you have to have your driver's license, your social security number is all mixed in there. That's all part of that. That's the reason why they would have that. Like I've got a car loan, for example, and to have that car loan, they have to see my ID, make sure I am who I say I am. That information is there. My social security number is on that, my home address, everything. I mean, almost down to my blood type is on there. So the fact is that this information is out there. I mean, if someone wanted to impersonate you, and they would be able to do it now because making up a phony ID is pretty easy. I mean, each state does their own driver's licenses differently. There is no set way that the entire nation does driver's licenses. If we had one national driver's license, then it might be easier to change it more dramatically to keep ahead of these people. But because there's so many differences and we have so many problems with that, the fact is that someone could target a particular state a little easier, I would think.
Right. But I mean, people are faking everything these days. I remember when the new $20 bills came out, when they redid them. But then the first week that they came out, somebody was already faking them.
Yeah.
I mean, within a week.
Yep.
I mean, that's people are, there are a lot of smart people out there, and there's always somebody out there trying to fake things,
Yeah.
The only thing that's not fake these days is orgasms.
Don't know about that.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say that. I was thinking about that too. I was like, yeah, even the orgasms are fake nowadays, actually. So
Speak for yourself, Packard.
I'm not. I've never had that problem. I'm just saying. I've never had that problem. I'm just saying. Some people,
Yeah, counterfeiting has gone to a whole new level now.
Oh, absolutely. It absolutely has.